going on? What's going on, peoples? So this evening I will be wrapping up the 4-part series on hands and feet. Let me know if y'all can hear me good or everything too. I don't think we'll be long because we're just wrapping up and kind of going over some stuff, but I'll go over like the hands, I'll go over the feet, and then I think I'll draw a hand, like another detailed hand, just so, because I know hands are more difficult than feet, so we'll do another hand by the end of the evening. So yeah, so let's get into it. Like I said in the previous videos, I think all 3 of them I mentioned, especially this book. There was 2 other books, but that's all. All right, cool. This is the main book that I use for practicing my hands and feet, and everything else, to be honest. This is just a really good tool to help you get better. So with that said, here's we went over some hands on the first week, and then I actually drew a hand, a pretty detailed one. I'll probably do this again later this evening, but again, I think it was 2nd week. And then last week I talked about feet. So we went over feet. I just drew a bunch of feet. Again, feet are a little easier. So, and let me get some more paper. So I hope you all are doing well. And I'm drawing in black pen right now just so you can see it a little more clear. And we'll pick a foot here. I think I'm going to do this one. We'll zoom in just a little bit. So yeah, we'll do this one. Make sure I got some ink coming out of there. And again, it's just basically 3 steps, right? I look at my subject here and I just start blocking it off. So that's 1. If I draw that same shape, and I can add the ball of the foot back here as a shape, and then the toes as another shape, and then I'll just add his calf and shin and all that. And so these are 2. And if I draw that shape one more time, and now I can start fleshing it out, right? And that would be 3, is flesh out. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I know his ankle is here. The heel, I say a ball, I think I meant heel. And I'm kind of just fleshing it out. I'm looking at my reference. making sure I got the feet and toes and all that in the right spot. And I add this here just so I can get a reference of what's happening, some sizing and all that stuff. A little bit of shading, nothing major. So it adds volume, that's all. Toenails. And again, this is just practice, right? We're just trying to get better and looking at the subject matter. Got some tendons and muscles and all that stuff in here. And there we have a foot, you know? It's just, again, practice over and over and over on, you know, getting this stuff down. Hey, Michelle. What's up, Walt? Hey, I think I replied to your message, man. Yeah, just email me. Email me your address, and then I'll send the rest of the stuff via email. I think my internet is having some weird connection, so I'm not sure if you guys are seeing any lag or anything, but I'm seeing quite a bit of lag here on my end. I'll do one more foot here, and I think I'll do this foot here. And again, I'm just looking at the shape. Pretty easy, right? One, draw that shape again. And I think the reason for shapes is because we all can draw shapes. If you can't draw, you can draw a square or whatever a 5-sided thing is. And then I'll draw the little toes up there like that. Got the heel, and then I'll just add, again, his calf thing there. So this would be 2. And if I draw that same shape, and now we just fleshing out. We can see, so instead of that straight line like here, we can see in the reference there's a little bump. So you can put the little bump there where this shape joins this shape. We can see there's some wrinkles there, so we can put, you know, a few little wrinkles, and then we can just start rounding off some of these edges. And instead of this being straight here, we could see where there is his Achilles heel. So we know to make it go up just a little bit. And then the heel, again, instead of it being square, we just start rounding it off a little bit. Ankle. Got a little bit of shadow happening here. His other toes kind of in the background. That's 3, flesh out. So it's literally 3 steps, right? All right, well, cool. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all doing well today. But yeah, it's just 3 steps. And then we add that on, we can add that on, and then flesh out. Really, not a lot of, I tried to, again, make it, very easy and bite-sized pieces, digestible, for obviously beginners, but even if you're advanced in drawing or whatever, you can still take this and just, as you get quicker and understand how to break shapes down, it goes a long way. I mean, a long way. But feet, again, are a little, to me, are just a little easier than hands. So I think that's why I'm gonna do a hand, another good detailed hand. Let's see here, because I know people just struggle with them. And we all need practice with them. So I think I'm gonna do this one here. Let me get my stuff together here. Get rid of that one. And so I'm gonna draw this one here. Just a nice detailed one. And then I'm gonna draw it with the blue pencil too. That's what's up, man. I'm glad, that is helping someone. Because if we're trying to get better as artists, let's use every resource that we can. So if I'm looking at this reference piece and I break it down in those chunks again, we got the first basic shape right there, the palm. Now I'm gonna start adding these number 2 pieces, if you will. And I like this one because it's a little more challenging. Thumb is out here. So now I got 1, 2, And you can see I started doing the fingers already. And it's because I've been doing this enough, I just start. Instead of actually teaching and going over it, I'll just jump right in sometimes. And so a lot of this stuff, like I'm looking for reference points to use, right? So, you know, I got the distance from this muscle where it bends to here. And so I started hanging off my pinky, right? Now I'm looking at the other fingers. So I'm imagining a line going through here. I'm imagining a line, well, I wouldn't say imagining. In my brain, I'm thinking of these reference lines that go everywhere. You know, up and down, side to side. And so I know this knuckle is kind of bent in a little bit, but if I draw a line over here, this other finger, where does that line match up with that knuckle? And according to that, there should be a bend coming around there. So I think as I'm looking at it, I could bring the webbing of the inside the finger down just a little bit. And kind of match the other knuckle to this knuckle. And again, these lines and all that, they're I don't want to say suggestive, but they're just reference points so you get the shape of the hand. And then you can just start hanging the pieces off where you know, see where they need to be hung. And so now I'm looking at this line right here. So I got this knuckle matched up with this knuckle just a little bit. Because of the way the hand is tilted, the top of that knuckle is a little higher than this. So I know it's kind of where I want this to be. And if I want, I can start looking at this knuckle and put a line over here. Okay, where do these fingers line up with this knuckle? Looking at my reference, I can see part of the finger comes from here, and that knuckle for this finger is a little bit lower. So I'll just make it a little bit lower and pull that finger out. And again, I'm sketching really light because some things may change. Okay, here's one. So where this knuckle is bending here, and then it starts to bend here, I'm looking at this knuckle as well, and what's over here, and the tip of this finger, and what's over here. Because of the way the reference is, we can see that this finger doesn't match the bottom of that finger. It's somewhere around this knuckle, right? So that's where I want the tip of that finger to end up. And so if I pull that over here, this one here, this finger needs to end here. I may bring it down just a little bit so it'll fit in there right. But I definitely don't want it to be even with this because it's not going to be right. And then this finger pretty much behind this one. So we got these levels kind of lining up. This one is a little higher. So that means this one should be a little higher. And we got some wrinkles over here. And so now I'm fleshing out, right? Looking at my reference. When you pick that one, the first thing that came to mind. Where the little hand is running across, yeah. That's always a classic movie too. Classic TV series. Matter of fact, I think Netflix is doing something called Wednesday Addams or something, and there's a cool guy. He's a really good actor. I think they casted for Gomez. I'm looking forward to that one. All right, so I think I'm happy with this. I feel like this may be a little long. So then I'll just cut it off some, right? So this was just reference for me to make sure I had the shape of the hand right. But after looking at the picture, I can see it was a little too long, so I'll just cut it off some. And now because I feel like I'm happy with where I'm going, I can go in a little darker on some of these lines. So now I don't get too confused on what line I want to pick, because I got a lot of choices now. Super sketchy, still kind of loose. And it looks like he's got some shadow here. I know somebody mentioned last week about light sources and stuff like that. And I think that's what I'll do next week. It'll just be one quick, nothing major. When you're drawing, light sources are pretty basic. So looking at this, light would come from this way. Put a little light bulb in there. And then shadow obviously is coming from here, but then you can do like secondary lights, 3 lights. There's all type of stuff. Oh, and I kept meaning to mention that um, in the iPad, if you have an iPad, there's an app called Handy, Handy, and it's a really good app. It has hands and feet, I think, or there's one for feet. Then it has heads, but what's cool is like it has all the different shapes of hands and poses. But what you can do is add a light, and then you could turn the hand all different kinds of ways, and a light will shine wherever you set it. It's a really cool app. But again, for this, I'm kind of just fleshing this stuff out, you know. Just seeing where stuff lands. And you know, the shadows and the shading kind of just help add weight and dimension to stuff, right? It adds, one of my professors used to say, it adds roundness to things. And that's exactly what it does. It adds roundness. It adds dimension. I'm gonna kind of try and leave these light because I may do something else with those fingers. And then again, we add a little bit of shading up here. But yeah, Walter, I'm glad it's helping you, man. If you don't mind, take some pictures and send them via email or something to me too, so I can take a look at them. Yeah, that's it. Best $2 I spent, man. And you got some wrinkles happening up here. Then the other finger kind of just fades off in the back a little bit. We know it's there. And then the thumb is kind of down here a little bit. a little shading here and there to again help bring it to life. Add some roundness. And so you have a hand, right? Now, once you get the understanding of, you know, how hands move and you feel like you're a little more comfortable, like I did on the other one, now you can kind of start extending them. I think when I seen American Werewolf in London, when his hand stretched, man, that freaked me out so much. But now we can kind of just stretch that stuff out, right? Just add a little more to it. Just a little bit though, right? You don't want to add too much. Unless your creature calls for that. But now we can, and it's the same, right? We know this finger is lower than this one. So keep all this stuff pretty much the same, right? So all these extensions that I'm messing around with now, I'm gonna keep them all pretty much the same length. So I don't have to think too hard about it, unless it was in like a battle or a fight or something and got, you know, messed up or something. But for the most part, they're all the same. Now we can kind of go in dark and just fade it out up to here. So we can hide, you know, because I did this already, we can hide this stuff here by fading it out. You know, they can be like blood soaked or something like that. We can add like blood and all type of just stuff on here now. And when I do this, it's the same thing when I'm drawing anything regular, right? So I start one way, I cross hatch another way, and it's dark down here. As I get up here, I kind of just let go of the pressure a little bit. And then we just start playing with it. I've been doing a lot of it in Procreate, so I don't have any of the... Oh yeah, that's cool. But whenever you get a chance to, just try and send me some stuff. I'd like to see what you're working on. So, has anyone seen that Suicide Squad? If you haven't, one, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I did not like that at all. What bothered me? One, it felt very kiddie. I didn't like every time it cut to a different scene, it said something written on a toilet or it said something wrote on the ground. I was just over all of that stuff. Did you see it, Michelle? And that's my hand. Okay, I had a little. Yeah, no, I get it. Some of the jokes, I did chuckle at some stuff, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I felt like DC is just trying too hard or something. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, definitely Deadpool-y humor. And that's my hand. It's a little different than the thing, but
Looking for feedback? How you ask is everything. Meet Typeful.
and then at this point you can kind of go as far as you want, right? So we know that his little fingers are cylinders, right? So now you can add like hair on here. And if we look, this finger is circular like that. You know, adding hair is typically 2 or 3 little lines that read hair. And some of them you can kind of turn them a little bit, because all the hair doesn't just grow straight over like that. Some of them grow weird. And then plus this is a creature, definitely has no real rhyme or reason to way hair should grow. You can start putting like tattoos, markings, all type of stuff. Because now we, you know, added the shading and the roundness. We know that this is round-ish. You know, it kind of flattens out up top here, but this part here is round, right? So if you're going to add any type of markings or something, you want to keep that in mind, that whatever marking, it follows the contour of the surface. So if I wanted, like, I don't know, anything really, instead of it being, you know, straight lines like that, they'll actually curve a little bit. And then if it went over, it would kind of curve like that. But since I want this to come over here and then go up, again, I'm just following the contour of what I've drawn already. And then we can attach it back over here. And even with the wrinkles here, right? So now we want that marking or whatever it is, tattoo or whatever, to follow these wrinkles too. So those also need to be curved just a little bit. So again, it sells us that that marking is following every little detail that's on his hand. And that's my hand. But yeah, I think, like I said in the email, I knew it would be that long. It's crazy because James Gunn is working with DC and Marvel. He's doing the Guardians. Interesting. He's directing though, right? He didn't write it. But yeah, that's it. That concludes the 4-part series for drawing hands and feet. I'm glad this has helped you Walt and whoever else it's helped. I've been putting the videos of these up there on the Patreon in case somebody missed it or something like that. But like I said, I think next week I'll do some light and shadow and lighting and all that stuff. And then after that, I will start torsos. I'll do a series on drawing torsos. And I'll make Instagram posts and stuff like that when I'll start it, so people won't miss it. And I'll send Patreon notifications too, so yeah, directing. So yeah, I think directors are typically, you know, if it's a really good director, they may have some input on the writing and how things should be said, but yeah, he's just directing what someone wrote. I think that's where Marvel is I don't want to say leaps and bounds, but they're very well into their groove of what they've been doing. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all for hanging out, and I will see y'all next week. We'll do some more drawing. I don't know why I'm pausing, but I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Thanks for all the support as always. And yeah, I'll see y'all. Peace.